My sister was visiting. Her car was old, loud. She stayed for 2 nights. The next morning, someone had keyed trash into her hood. I knew who it was. Instead of confronting them, I let them keep watching from their window. As my friends arrived, one by one, for the block party they weren't invited to. Let me take you back a few months first. I'd already had run-ins with Bob and Marlene. Little things. Notes left on my door about my porch light being too bright. A complaint to the HOA about my unapproved flower pots. One time they told me my dog barking at 7 a.m. was a violation of morning peace. I started ignoring them, which only seemed to irritate them more. When Marcy pulled up that Friday night, muffler rattling like a popcorn machine, I saw the blinds twitch across the street. God, I feel like I'm embarrassing you, Marcy said, stepping out. She looked tired, holding a duffel bag and a tray of grocery store cupcakes for my neighbors. I know this car sounds like a blender full of nails. I waved her off. They'll live. That first night, we just sat around eating pasta and watching old reruns. The next day, I took her to the Saturday market downtown. She bought homemade candles for her apartment, even though she can barely afford groceries. That night, I caught Bob standing near his garage just staring at her car. Not doing anything. Just looking. Long enough that it felt weird. I didn't say anything. Maybe I should have. The morning I found the keyed hood, something in me went still. I took a photo. Then I stood on the porch with my coffee and looked across the street. Their blinds moved. They were watching. They wanted me to see. I didn't go over. Didn't shout. I just sipped my coffee and went back inside. When Marcy came out later, she froze. What the hell? She traced the letters with her finger. I saw her eyes start to well up, but she blinked fast and looked away. Whatever. It's just a car. I shouldn't have even come. She didn't say it like she meant it. She said it like she'd said it before about other places. Other people. That night, after she went to sleep, I stayed up and started texting people. I sent out texts to 10 people that night. Old friends, coworkers, a couple of neighbors I actually like from 2 streets over. I didn't explain much. Just said, having a little block hangout tomorrow. Grill's on. Come by after 2. I didn't mention Bob or Marlene. I didn't need to. Anyone who knows me knows I don't do block parties. That wasn't the point. The next morning, I got up early and started dragging out folding chairs. Put on music. Not too loud. Just enough to carry. I set up a cooler, started seasoning meat, laid out snacks. Marcy helped. She was quiet, but I could tell she was trying to act normal. Why are you going through all this? She asked. I shrugged. Figured it's time I used that lawn for something. By noon, the smell of charcoal was in the air. Cars started pulling up, nicer cars. Newer cars. Music played. Laughter started. My friend Caleb brought his giant Bluetooth speaker and parked it near the edge of the driveway. Bob came out to check his mailbox right around then. He lingered longer than necessary, arms crossed, eyes narrowed at the gathering crowd. Marlene stayed inside, but their blinds moved so often I could see the white stick twitching like a nervous tick. By 3 p.m., there were about 15 people in my yard. Kids running, someone passing around homemade sangria, a couple of guys tossing a football back and forth dangerously close to Bob's mailbox. My grill was smoking, burgers going, people laughing. My kind of chaos. But what I was really waiting for was the car. My friend Tanya showed up last. She drives a silver BMW.
Sleek. Clean. Quiet.
She parked it exactly where Marcy's Corolla had been the day before. Same angle. Same spot. That's when Bob came outside again, this time with Marlene behind him. They didn't say anything at first. Just stood at the edge of their lawn, staring across. I made eye contact with Marlene and held it just long enough to let her know I saw her. Then I smiled. A small, dry, closed-mouth smile. She blinked, turned, and went back inside. Bob stayed. My neighbor Dave, who's never liked Bob, walked up with a hot dog in one hand and a beer in the other. You invite them? He said, nodding across the street. I shook my head. Nope. Dave smirked.
Good.
Then something happened I didn't expect. Marcy came outside with a cupcake and walked straight across the street. I almost stopped her. I stood up, half ready to move, but I didn't. She walked right up to Bob, handed him the cupcake, and said, "Just wanted to say thanks." He looked confused. For what? For showing me exactly what kind of people my sister has to live near. She turned, walked back, and didn't look behind her once. Bob stood there holding the cupcake like it was something toxic. The rest of the party
Kept going.
even louder now. People who'd never met before were talking, kids were making chalk drawings on the sidewalk. One of them wrote, "Be kind," in huge blue letters, right in front of Bob's driveway. By late afternoon, things had shifted. The party wasn't just a party anymore. It had rhythm, energy. People were comfortable now. Legs stretched out on lawn chairs, drinks in hand, sunglasses on. We had music going, a second round of burgers grilling, even a table set up for cards. It wasn't wild, but it was happy.
Easy.
That's when Marlene did something I don't think even she planned. She came outside. No clipboard.
No fake smile.
Just her, arms stiff at her sides, walking directly across the street. The music didn't stop, but I could feel everyone watching, quiet in their own heads, wondering what she wanted. She walked up to me and said, not loud, but clear, "You didn't need to make a show." I looked at her and said, "This isn't a show. It's a Saturday." She looked past me at Tanya's BMW, then back at me. "I saw what you did." I kept my face still. "No idea what you mean." "You're not fooling anyone," she said, lower now. "This is petty." I leaned in a little and said, "You keyed a single mother's car because you didn't like how it sounded. You want to talk about petty?" She froze. Her mouth opened, closed, opened again. But nothing came out. So I turned away. "Have a cupcake, Marlene. They're really good." She left, just turned and walked back without another word. After that, it was like a fuse had been lit across the street. Their blinds stayed open, but they didn't come out again. At one point, Bob was visible in the living room window, just sitting in a chair and staring straight ahead like he was trying not to exist. And the people at the party? They stayed. One guy, Alan, said, "I don't know what you're doing here, but I like it. Feels like, I don't know, like something old and good." Marcy was sitting on the porch steps now, watching her son draw a cartoon ghost on the sidewalk. Her face was relaxed in a way I hadn't seen in years. I realized something then. This wasn't just about payback. It was about showing people like Marlene that they don't own the street, that you can't punish someone into disappearing, that you don't get to label someone trash and still pretend to be the victim. By Monday morning, the party was over, but the silence on their side of the street was different now. Not the usual smug, quiet superiority. It was tight, uncomfortable, the kind that made people keep their heads down when walking to the mailbox. Marcy had left early, before sunrise. She didn't say much when she left, just hugged me a little too long and whispered, "Don't let people like them make you smaller." Her car, keyed and beaten as it was, rumbled away into the dark. I stood on the porch watching her taillights disappear. Later that morning, I filed a police report. Not because I thought anything would happen, but because I wanted it on record. I attached the photo of the damage and told them I suspected a neighbor, but had no proof. The officer nodded, scribbled on his clipboard, and told me, "We'll keep an eye out." That was enough. Because after that, I let the neighborhood start talking. I didn't start the rumors, but I also didn't stop them. One of the guys from the party, Caleb, works at a tire shop down on Market. He told everyone how shaken Marcy had looked. Another guest mentioned the word keyed into her hood. Then someone else asked why Bob and Marlene weren't at the party, and someone else, God bless, said, "Well, they do have cameras, right? Wonder if they saw anything." By Thursday, word had spread. People weren't accusing, not directly, but they were speculating.
Loudly.
Marlene stopped her morning walks. Bob pulled his trash bins out the night before pickup, instead of the morning of, like he always lectured others about. The real shift happened at the next HOA meeting. I didn't say a word, But 3 different people brought up neighborhood kindness and targeting guests and how we should be careful about labeling people. Bob tried to speak up,
He really did.
but he fumbled his sentence and ended up just saying, "Let's move on." Marlene didn't show up. That week, someone left a cupcake on my porch. Same kind Marcy brought. No note.
Just the cupcake.
And a little post-it stuck to the wrapper. "You're not alone." I didn't know who left it. Still don't. But I saved the wrapper. I kept it in my drawer next to the old house key Marcy gave me back when she still lived in Detroit. I don't know why I kept it, but I did. The next morning, I was outside watering my flowers when Bob came out to get the paper. We made eye contact. He didn't smile.
Neither did I.
He turned back inside without a word. A week later, something strange happened. I got a call from the police department. The officer from the report I filed sounded casual, almost too casual. "Hey, just circling back on the vehicle vandalism from last week," he said. "Any new info?" I said no, but I could hear him typing like he was entering notes. Then he paused. "Your neighbor across the street, Robert Elkins, called in yesterday. Said he's had some property damage recently. Scratches on his mailbox. Something about a loose garden hose spraying his porch. He wanted to know if it was connected." I blinked. It's summer. Every house on this block has hoses lying around. The officer gave a soft laugh.
Yeah.
I told him we'd take a note, but unless he has proof, well, we're not connecting it to your case. After we hung up, I stood there with the phone still in my hand. Bob was cracking. Not because anyone was targeting him, but because no one was. He couldn't prove anything, couldn't stop the gossip, couldn't clean the air of what had already spread. It's hard to stay smug when you're not in control anymore. That Friday, I saw Marlene walking with someone. A younger woman. Sharp clothes, loud heels. Looked like a real estate agent. They walked around Bob and Marlene's yard, pointing at the bushes, the siding, the mailbox. The agent nodded a lot. Then, as they passed my driveway, Marlene's eyes flicked toward me.
No acknowledgement.
Just a tight little glance. Then gone. That night, a for sale sign went up in their yard. I didn't say anything. Neither did anyone else. But by the next afternoon, 3 different people texted me a photo of it. Each one with the same message. Huh. Meanwhile, something changed with Marcy too. She texted me a photo.
No caption.
Just a picture of her car's hood, repainted. Still old, still loud, but no more scarred letters. I called her. "You get it fixed?" "Kid at the shop offered to do it on the side," she said. Said he heard what happened and felt bad. Only charged me for paint. Then she said quietly, "I didn't think people gave a damn about folks like me." I didn't know what to say. So I just said they do. You just haven't been around the right ones. But things weren't completely over. Not yet. Because the day the real estate photos went up online, I saw a man outside their house. Not Bob. Not the agent. Someone younger. Late 20s maybe. Tall, skinny, wearing a hoodie even though it was 85 degrees. He stood on their sidewalk staring at the front of their house for a long time. Then he pulled out his phone, took a few pictures, and walked away. Didn't knock. Didn't say a word. And something about it felt off. 3 days after I saw that guy in the hoodie, Marcy called me again. Her voice was different this time, brighter, but also a little shaky. "Hey, weird question," she said. "You didn't tell anyone about the car thing, right? Like, besides your party friends?"
Just the cop, I said. Why?
There was a pause. Then she said, "Because, remember Jared? My ex Tommy's dad." I froze. Jared was never around. Paid nothing, called once every 6 months if that. Marcy hadn't mentioned him in over a year. She went on. "He showed up out of nowhere. Said someone emailed him pictures of my car. Said it was messed up what happened, and he wanted to help." I sat down slowly. "You think it was someone from here?" "I don't know. But he brought me cash. Not a lot, but enough. Told me to get it repainted. Said he was going to take care of it." I felt something cold settle in my chest. Because now it made sense why that guy was taking photos of Bob and Marlene's house. Why he didn't knock? Did he say where he was staying? I asked. She hesitated. He didn't say much. Just that he's around. Said he knows who did it. I don't think he's planning something. But he didn't sound calm either. That night, I didn't sleep well. I kept checking the window. Kept looking at the shadows moving under the streetlight. Nothing happened. But I knew, if Jared had really shown up, if he'd seen the damage and traced it back here, things weren't done yet. Not really. The next morning, I walked across the street. I'd never stepped foot on their property before. I stood on the porch and knocked. Not hard, just once. Bob opened the door halfway, like he already knew it was me. We didn't do it, he said. First thing. Just like that. I didn't reply. He looked tired, like he hadn't slept either. People like you, he started, then stopped. You think everything's a fight. I looked him right in the eye.
No.
I think people like you are used to never being questioned. He blinked and I saw something shift in his face, like maybe, just maybe, he didn't expect anyone to ever say that to him. I didn't say another word. Just turned around and walked back home. They moved out 2 weeks later. No goodbye, no listing on the community board, just a moving truck at 7 a.m. and blinds pulled tight. I watched from my porch with a coffee in one hand and the cupcake wrapper still in my pocket. I never saw Jared again. Never asked Marcy what he did or didn't do. I figured if she was okay, that was enough. But every time a new car turns onto our street, I still catch myself holding my breath, waiting to see if someone's coming back to finish something I didn't start.